Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is ExperiencePoints, and here we are, the final battle in the Stalingrad campaign for the Soviet forces, as we look at the brilliant victory that the Soviets achieved in the Dneper and Donbas campaign, battle of the campaign. So, yeah, let's have a look. As we load up the very last one. Here we go. So, replaying from the restart, let's just have a look at this situation. We do know that the supply points are not on roads, so that's an issue. The Axis forces have 2 supply points. 3 capture points are all on the supply routes. Now, the weather plays a huge part in this. The storm will gradually grow up and push this way, so it means everything that happens at the start of the game will determine if you can even win the level or not. So let's just have a look and let's go forward. So the first thing I have to do is bring my armor up to attack this unit. It's very important to remove these from battle, so doing whatever you can, even if you have to blow off infantry. This is important because you need to take this unit off so you can actually have access to attacking this back unit from multiple angles. Here we go. It's got rid of 1 headache. Attack with the experienced units first so you can do the most damage. We swing around, so we grab that territory in our hands and we try to kill this guy. And this is where we just need to keep laying in on this guy here. Remembering as you shift your units down to keep the line of defense there. It's very important because if this guy gets out, you won't be able to starve him and he will cause absolute havoc. Bring our tanks in, now we try to attack the German Panzer Grenadier. We want to do whatever we can to kill this because of its danger level. So here we go. So now this guy is completely encircled, and we just make sure that we have a strong unit here. As well as here. Resupply up here is best because this is completely ineffective. As you count, like 6, 4, 2, 3, like this is just not going to do anything. So just put everything that you have up into this top supply source. Okay, here your goal is to actually cut them off because the supply line comes along here, so you need to try to completely outsupply or completely suppress these units by letting the supply run out. Also reinforcing back into this town with your horse to make sure that they can't take this, because cities have a natural defensive bonus on them. Putting our armor down to try to destroy these tanks and pushing south as fast as we can. Okay. Now, they won't attack above the bridge to cut off your supply. The AI has never done it, but it's always handy to keep some units there. It's sort of like shuffle everyone, all your units forward, trying to get your tanks around. Okay, now we'll completely cut them off, just to make sure that 8 supply can't get through, which would only be about here, but still. Unfortunately, they just do that anyway, but they'll try to reform another line closer to the river. As long as you can keep this guy out of supply, you have no problem. This one is always going to be a hassle, but you try to deal with one issue at a time. As you see, they won't do a particularly precise or intensified attack against one unit. They'll just attack your line wherever they can. If they do attempt to attack one unit, it will be to get the crossing, so they can try to take out your supply. If you don't have a unit on the supply, they'll keep doing that. So they are trying to retreat. Okay, and here's where it gets interesting in this situation. The supply only goes up so far. So you need to keep your units supplied in the next turn, but also you need to progress forward. So it's quite a battle. Here I'm trying to actually take this supply, cut him off completely, and if the horse can get around, he can save me so much headache. As you see, the weather is pretty bad against this area, so movement will be slow. But if you can grab the supply, it's always worth it. Okay, reconnecting the line, trying to get across to cut off supply to this next objective, because he is insanely difficult to attack. Okay, reorganizing my troops here, trying to keep this unit surrounded. If we just take a look at the supply, yep, those guys are fine. I was just making sure he was still in supply. They couldn't get him off. Okay, so here we are, pushing down, trying to take the armor, still pushing forward. Trying to regroup. Unfortunately, these units are going to be out of supply, but we're doing what we can to try to progress forward. When the weather comes up and the storm bogs you down, movement is impossible. So even if these units can't attack next turn, at least we know that they're closer, because this is a complete distraction. As long as you keep your supply secure by keeping units here, you'll be fine. I've not seen, because of the threat of these units, I've never seen a unit sort of push this way. And if you are worried, there may be a way to put one unit there. Okay, so this is not looking good for this unit. Okay, so the critical mistake they made, not looking to intercept this unit because the threat was here, not withdrawing these units for some reason even though they're cut off from supply, and not looking to take out this unit, which means the supply, if I get it high enough, is going to cut off this guy. So, and they didn't keep a unit in this city, so they've made some pretty significant blunders that I'm now going to try to capitalize on. So here we go. Just trying to move that line, try to bring units across the river. Keep this guy isolated. And because of the area of control, it shouldn't be likely that he can move in any decent way. Oh, there we go, I blocked him off. Just making sure he doesn't get out, because then 3 turns would have been wasted. Here we go, trying to cut off their other source, which hopefully should bring some of the units back to try to do that. And again here, while I didn't take the source, I was at least able to cut it off, and considering it's 2 steps for every storm, then these units are effectively cut off. Okay, bringing our armor back to try to resupply them. Trying to push our units down now so we can get some infantry before the storm hits. Particularly armor. Okay, resupply. Keep these units, they can't attack, but they can still block. The storm will cover this, so it means these won't be resupplied, which is good. And he's moving to intercept, but if he doesn't attack this turn, he won't be able to attack the next. Okay. So here we go. Moving our armor across to get ready to attack. Hopefully the next resupply will actually have this guy supplied. Where we go from here? Yeah, we'll just double check that it is. As we see, yep. Across the river, it loses 2 points. Still supplied. And here we're trying to go for the supply up here to cut these guys off. Now it's time to kill this unit. Re-establish our front line. See if we can't break through. Push forward. And of course, if you can obviously take a shot without being damaged, then by all means you go for it. I mean, you're a little worried about him going this way, but he should reply and try to pull back here. Cool, the supply is grabbed, so these guys are going to be quickly out of supply and not able to do anything because they've been out of supply for 2 turns. This is just a turkey shoot, but as you see here, I have 2 turns where I can hit him. I can take this objective before the storm hits, so that is a miracle that I hit. Now I'll just move armor up, keep it in supply, but progress towards the next objective. And here, turkey shoot. They didn't make an attack on here, which was surprising, but I'm just trying to encircle them and trap them so they can't progress and they can't block off supply. For example, you'd want to make sure you get rid of this fella, otherwise he could take supply back here and these units would be, oh, they wouldn't be so much in trouble now. Gotta love that artillery. Okay, so here we go. We have 2 objectives. He's moving to block. He didn't try to push through. They still encircle your units even though they are completely weak. You see the storms now coming up, so it's very important that the units held on that, but they can never take them back now. So it's not about wasting time defeating these units, it's about trying to get to units. So all that really matters back here now is keeping a unit here on the supply, keeping a unit on your objective. And let's just make sure they can't do things like take cities. So I wish if I could have, I would have put a unit there. So we just continue the mop up over here. I love overrun. So good. Looks like he gained experience. Certainly when you're doing missions where there aren't supply sources on roads, the way you fight has to be very conservative. You generally can't continue on a straight course. You have to think about those resources, and that's what's so great about this game, is you have to think about your resources as well as considering you know, where am I going to pinpoint my attacks and how am I going to get to my objectives in time. So as we see, we can now cut off, so the next turn he should be completely out of supply, unless he goes right there. Hopefully we can do some blocking. There we go. Just getting our resources to the river so they are in supply. He can't attack, which is really good. We just want to make sure that supply is gone. Bring your armor across the river before you attack, so you don't have that penalty on you. Now we have one more turn before we have to attack it all, so we're just going to make sure that there's no chance of supply getting in. Extend my supply range. Again, and you see by the time you get to this, it's 11 and 6, so it's definitely better to do up here. The storm is in full force now, so yeah, if you're trying to attack this target by turn 7, you're just never going to get it because you can't push through. The weather really takes it down from moving what 7 steps to like 3. It's just impossible. So some of this is you can only get brilliant victories when the weather's on your side, which is a bit of a random chance, and skill can't always negate that, but you do what you can. It's a bit of a cleanup. If I could, I would just now reorganize all these troops. There's no real point. You can't do anything with them, and there's no effective ways that they're going to be there. So just restacking. And even in the previous turns, if you want to restack, then can reorganize them, and that's fine. It was funny that he actually didn't attack this unit. That was very, very surprising. But as you see now, this unit is completely gone. His 88 flak would have been incredibly hard to kill, but we have the armor. We did it 100%. Turn 7, taken turn 4. Yep, as you see, 3 turns ahead, but that's just a necessity, and that's how you do it. So this has been the Soviet campaign. Just go back to that campaign map, and as you see, everything, brilliant victory, no prestige was used at all, so that's the maximum you can possibly get, 1800. Well, this has been a lot of fun. So I hope you've gained some experience here, and this has helped you. I'm going to attempt the Axis Stalingrad campaign next, and we'll see how we go. This has been Experience Points, and thanks for watching. Cheers!